I just shot this with a coat of primer. I didn't have to, but primer is actually sort of a liquid Bondo. It fills stuff. This is sandable primer, but it's shiny is the main thing. And you can see in here I got just, you know, hundreds of little dents and grind marks and weld marks. All this top part, you can see the rust spots in it. So this gives me an idea of all of where my low points and things are, where you won't be able to see it in the shiny metal. So I got a better idea of what I'm doing and what I'm going to plan to do with my Bondo. Try to show you a little something here. By the way, you can always use an edge of something to clean your spatula and pick it up for like corners. I'll try to fill that corner there. See, that's alright. Again, you always want to try to keep your Bondo low. But if you look right here in the middle, this Bondo's running back down out of it. So once you get your holes full, then you take your spatula and you try to wipe up on it, because the stuff will run down. Now see, I'm leaving a little hole in there. See, there's a groove right in the middle. It's here to run, and there's a hole. So as the Bondo hardens, there we go. As the Bondo hardens, it's going to run down. Now I know all of this top part here isn't going to need any Bondo, so all I'm doing is just wiping it off. And if you see the red streaks in it, that's that primer that the Bondo is dissolving. Now I got one little corner here. I'll try to smooth it out a bit, and a little ripple here. Try to get it. I'm trying to keep this camera from jerking, but it's kind of hard because I'm not really paying attention to it as much as I am where my Bondo's going. Well, this is starting to get a little harder. You can feel it on the spatula. It's starting to harden up. And that's about all I want on here. I've got more on my spatula that I'm not going to be needing. So once I get this little area cleaned up here, I'll go into a place that needs Bondo, and we know back in here does. So I'm going to just get me a bad corner. You can kind of see it there, and I'm going to just rake my excess Bondo into this hole here, and I don't want to put a gallon of Bondo in there. So as this stiff Bondo's going in, it's gonna not run and leave me a little bit of where I won't have to use that much Bondo to fill this whole gap up along here and make it solid. We got a few minutes later. I used the rest of my Bondo up on little cracks and stuff. Clean my spatulas up, and now we're looking at it. You can see, like right in here, it's starting to run back down. You know, before I wiped it where it was all on the upside, but it's starting to run down a little bit, and so it's just leaving us a little bit of a hole. Once I start sanding this off, then it'll look much better. Now I'm going to just clean up what's left here on this heavy, like right in here. Oops, see, now it's dry to the touch. It's still soft. At this point, you would take a razor blade or something. I'll show you. Now you have at the most few minutes here. If you notice, this razor knife is just trimming this Bondo off just as sweet as you please. Now something like this will take you 20 minutes of sanding, but it does tend to want to flake, so you got to be careful. Just trim stuff to the shape you want it. See, I'm cutting this off. That'll save you lots and lots of sanding later, like on this edge here. See, it'll come off pretty good, but you have to be careful because it'll come off in a big chunk like that. So there's a little technique to it. If I let it dry a couple more minutes, it tends to want to stick more. But at this very point, particularly with primer, if you're careful with it, you can whittle it up. Yeah, that's good. And make yourself some little, get it to the shape you want. You can also take out stuff like, here's a big run here that I don't want. I'll just have to sand that later. It's always easier to put more Bondo on. See, so I'll just take that out altogether. Here's a pretty good chunk here. Well, I don't want to mess with that because it's going to get into my lower Bondo. So I've just whittled it all off now, and all of this that you're not going to need, you can take it off pretty easily at this point, particularly if you primer it first, because the primer is still kind of wet underneath. Once it hardens, of course, then you're not going to do anything but have to sand it. But this looks all pretty smooth now, so I'll call it quits on that. Well, my Bondo is drying. I took the wire brush to the door. It looks pretty good, considering this is probably a, I don't know, 20, probably 100-year-old door. I was having a little problems here with the hinge. Didn't want to move too good, so I was going to take it out and see if I could clean it up and make it work better. But looks like somebody's already went in here and taken it out before and then put it back in with brass instead of screws. So I may leave that alone. Front here is rusted up a little bit. It's not that bad considering. I think part of it was that it still had good primer on it. In the bottom here along the front, I've got some rust holes. You can take it off and look at it, but all in all, for a 100-year-old door, it looks pretty clean. I'll try to straighten out some of the little kinks and things here with it. I can't get to this inside. I'll just take that de-ruster stuff I got, try to spray that as much as I can, and once that's dry, I'll just run a lot of primer down in it. Hopefully that'll protect it. I could take the door apart, I guess, but we're probably talking another day's work, and I'm not really into that at this point. It's going to be good enough for a rat rod, so I'm just going to clean it up, get it work right, and leave it alone.